Information Communication Technology, ICT, gains more admission into the activities of the electoral space, just as moves by constituents to recall their senator deepens. Plus, any move to dismember Nigeria will be catastrophic to all and should be resisted frontally, Labour warns. It is indeed a promising package for your noonday delight. News Panorama. I am Ogwa Vivian Unyedibia, your uncle. The 3 tiers of government have distributed the sum of 462.359 billion naira's revenue accrued to the Federation account for the month of May. The month saw a significant rise in the non-mineral revenue. Details with Leah Katumba Batunde.
May was not favorable for Nigeria's crude trade as it recorded a decline in export volume by 1.023 billion barrels, coupled with the perennial problems at the operational Niger Delta, as well as a slight drop in the average price of crude oil from $55.38 per barrel to $55.18 per barrel. These combined to reduce oil revenue by about $57.12 million. The good news, however, is a significant increase in revenue from companies' income tax and royalty, with marginal increase in customs and excise duty.
Fortunately, the takings by FRS increased substantially, and this more than made up for the reduction from NFPC receipts.
And also customs.
Yes, and customs.
Gross statutory revenue was 317.562 billion naira, an increase of more than 43 billion naira against the previous month. The increase in non-mineral revenue cushioned the effect on the fall in mineral revenue to see the 3 tiers of government share 462.3 billion naira. Excess crude account now stands at $2.303 billion and excess petroleum profit tax $0.067 billion. In Abuja, I'm there cutting Baba Tunde.
Members of the organized labor and the civil society organization have called on Nigerians to shun threats of pulling down the federation by desperate forces calling for the disunity of the country, pointing out the dangers on the ongoing warmongering. At a media briefing on the state of the nation, leadership of the labor movement says Nigerian workers will resist every move to threaten the sovereignty and unity of Nigeria. Correspondent Emmanuel Ayimiro tells us more.
After due consultations with the various organs of the labor movement across the country on hate campaigns currently affecting the fabrics that hold the nation together, Labour says it is not persuaded by the argument that a fragmented Nigeria will benefit any of its members.
We speak out because a physical conflict will haunt us all.
Recalling the roles of labor in the struggle for independence and fight against military dictatorship, corruption and bad governance, labor and the civil society say they are committed to those values the nation's founding fathers stood for, which bind the country together rather than disunity.
This call for restructuring will come over and over, but how we are able to manage it is what makes us a very strong nation.
In the recently concluded election in the United Kingdom, election of 2 weeks ago, 7 Nigerians emerged as legislators. Can we repeat that? Can we look at these challenges before us and stop following those who want to divide us?
Members of the organized labor say they are determined to stop the elites from throwing the nation into another avoidable civil war through calls for genuine dialogue for conflict resolution. In Abuja, Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
And away from that, the Sultan of Sokoto and President General Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, has requested Muslims to look out for the new moon of Shawwal on Saturday, 24th June, which is the 29th of Ramadan, 1438 after Hijrah. A statement signed by Chairman Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Professor Sambo Wali Junaid, says when cited, it should be reported to the following numbers: 0803 7157 100, 0706 7416 900, 0806 6303 077, 0806 5480 405, 0803 5965 322, and 0803 6149 757. Meanwhile, the federal government has declared Monday 26th and Tuesday 27th June 2017 as public holidays to mark Eid al-Fitr. Interior Minister Abdurrahman Dambazao, in a statement, enjoined all Muslims and Nigerians to pray for the peace of the nation. He appealed to all Nigerians to shun hate speeches and divisive tendencies and join hands with the government to promote peaceful coexistence. Moving on, a group of Niger Delta youths have lauded all steps taken so far by the present administration in the development of the Niger Delta region. This was at a lecture organized by the United Niger Delta Youths for Development. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday has details.
There is no nation on the face of the earth that would have the sheer amount of oil and gas resources that we have, and that will not be innovative and creative about its processing and production.
Recently, the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, was in the Niger Delta region where he encouraged the development of modular refinery for the sustainable development of the region.
The social, economic, and political development of youths of the Niger Delta region.
The lecture by the Niger Delta Youths on Peace and Development focused on the adverse effect of militancy and other crimes in the region. Speakers called for proper engagement of the youths based on the commitment of the federal government.
Wherever you find violent development will run. It's a coward to violence. And so that's why we are here making statements. We used to agitate, but we have found out by experience that violence does not pay. So our arms are open. We are ready to work with Mr. President to give a chance to the youths of the region to benefit from this good gesture of the president.
We need development. The region is begging for development. And we can see that the federal government today is committed toward developing the Niger Delta region. The government should be encouraged by the youth. The youth should also ensure a peaceful atmosphere, a peaceful ambience that development can thrive.
Reorientation and youth empowerment is the vision of the group. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Well, with renewed focus and consistent attention of the federal government to strengthen the growth of the maritime sector, there is a dire need to adequately equip the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, ORON, with basic facilities for optimum performance. Youth leaders from the immediate host communities of the academy made the appeal during a press briefing in Abuja. Justin Bem-Ui reports.
The Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Oron, Akwa Ibom State, was established 40 years ago as a pioneer maritime institution to educate and train all levels and categories of personnel for the largely untapped and potentially expanding maritime sector. Although the academy has witnessed a commendable success story over the years, some key players concerned with the stabilization of the gains so far realized decry lack of critical training facilities to match international and professional standards.
We know that the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, like others in any part of the world, cannot compete effectively with similar institutions.
They also see the leadership of the academy as a stronghold to ensure the desired growth and development of the maritime institution.
That having acted in the office since August 2016 with verifiable achievement and indigene of the host community, Dr. Nkpandio and T. Nkpandio should be given opportunity to head the academy.
The group acknowledged the efforts of the federal government and National Assembly to restructure and reposition the premier maritime training institution in the country for global reckoning and competitiveness. In Abuja, Justin Bem-Ui, NTA News.
Well, this is a reminder that you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Risk reduction in the construction industry in focus as experts converge to embrace emerging technology. Details after this timeout.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
Thank you for staying tuned. Panorama continues now. The need for Nigeria to promote the adoption and application of emerging construction technology trends to achieve growth and reduce risk exposure in infrastructure sector has been stressed. Experts in the sector gave this indication at a conference on emerging materials and technologies for sustainable building and road infrastructure organized by the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute in Abuja. Justin Bem reports.
Statistics show a high deficit in housing needs and road infrastructure in Nigeria. Investigations also show that cost of construction materials account for significant cost component of this sector. These materials are said to be sourced either wholly or partly from outside the country. Stakeholders of this conference say there has been significant efforts made by indigenous researchers in developing alternative construction materials to meet high quality and convenient infrastructure, but yet to be conceived. The key players conversed here deliberated on all the contending issues involved in the use of alternative construction materials in infrastructure development. This is to evolve strategies, framework and policy thrust. The one common pointer indicates it is time for Nigeria to wholly start looking inwards for construction technologies and development needs of the nation.
Your target, our target, must be to ensure that all Nigerians have access to a decent accommodation. The conference must concentrate its efforts on how research must be demand-driven.
New trends, new innovations, and progresses that are global in building and road infrastructure that will impact upon the economy of this country, that will change the performance and ensure more efficient, faster, and cheaper roads and building infrastructure in Nigeria.
Experts in the industry encourage the support of research and development as it plays a vital role in the vision of making Nigeria a scientifically and technologically developed nation.
The challenge has been funding. Those who state governments do not have the funding capability to commercialize whatever they come up with.
The government must find a way of ensuring that we give incentives and waivers to those who have these researches to make sure that these research come from the ivory tower to the marketplace where they'll be utilized.
With a seeming rapid development of emerging construction opportunities, faster projects, lower costs, and better roads and buildings may be a visible feature in the coming days. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
The 10th Nigeria-Benin joint action on the response to trafficking in persons, TIP, especially on women and children, has opened in Abuja. Stakeholders are brainstorming on the 2016-2022 ECOWAS Plan of Action on ratification and domestication of international instruments into national legislative frameworks by member states. Gabriel Odu has the details.
Trafficking in persons is a transnational organized crime with its attendant consequences, especially on women and children. That is why the 10th Nigeria-Benin Joint Consultative Meeting is discussing on more potent measures to prevent trafficking in persons in the ECOWAS sub-region.
Areas I'm particularly impressed and happy about are the areas of, will I say, eradicating this child labor in the stone quarries. That has been a big problem for us, and they were able to take very good care of that. So in that regards, yes, I believe that they've done something remarkable.
People don't have enough information about where they are going, and so they just go. But when they are educated about the risks that are involved, they may decide to stay back. Or even when they decide to move, they should be aware of what awaits them and how they can be supported through it.
Other issues on the table include social protection, intelligence and law enforcement, as well as migration. In Abuja, Gabriel Udu, NTA News.
To electoral matters now, Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, says the Commission is poised to deploy more use of information and communication technology, ICT, in the 2019 general election. He stated this while playing host to some communication professionals. Timothy Yusuf reports.
In spite of the challenges encountered in the deployment of ICT for the 2015 general elections, the use of the card reader machine has proven that it is capable of overcoming a number of the problems that have usually bedeviled elections in the country. It is therefore the consensus of many that associated technologies have shown that the innovation made a significant difference in the credibility of the election. This reason, among many, informed the visit by these communication professionals who are seeking areas of partnership with INEC to further strengthen election and its processes using the ICT.
How do we move on? You cannot do election without IT. IT is the key.
INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu believes that ICT has important roles to play in ensuring fairness, transparency and accountability in election processes.
In any way you think you can advise the Commission on a number of issues. The deployment of ICT, not only in elections, but in the processes that lead to elections, particularly the ongoing continuous voter registration exercise, will be a welcome development. And we look forward to your suggestions and collaborating with you in many other areas. We are pioneering, and we hope to deploy in the 2019 general elections a new platform for electronic collation and transmission of results.
Ahead of the 2019 general election, the INEC chairman assured Nigerians that the Commission will build upon the successes of previous elections, promising that the integrity of election in the country will continue to get an improvement. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has considered the petition submitted by some registered voters from Kogi West Senatorial District to kickstart the process of recalling Senator Dino Melaye. In a statement by the National Commissioner, Member Information and Voter Education Committee, Mohammed Haruna, INEC is to verify that the petitioners are registered voters in the Kogi West Senatorial District. The Commission will, on the 3rd of July 2017, issue a public notice stating the days, time, location, and other details for the verification exercise. And away from that, the Code of Conduct Bureau is seeking partnership with the NTA for it to discharge the difficult task of monitoring the actions and behaviors of public office holders towards complying with the provisions of the code. This was during a courtesy visit on the management of the Nigerian Television Authority. Timothy Yusuf tells us more.
The law makes it mandatory for all public office holders to declare their assets on a certain periods, provisions that the Code of Conduct Bureau says is being violated by both public and civil servants. It is to address this and enforce compliance that Acting Secretary of the Code of Conduct Bureau, Ngusha Agomto, is meeting critical stakeholders to educate and enlighten the public. At the NTA, the Acting Secretary seeks strategic partnership in the present administration's anti-corruption war, which the code is an integral part of, given its mandate.
The President has graciously signed up to the certain anti-corruption conventions internationally, and one of which is the Open Government Partnership. Under that segment of that anti-corruption war campaign, there is need for public engagement, and we felt that for us to publicly engage adequately with the public, we need NTA support and cooperation.
Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, who was represented by the Executive Director News, Mohammed Labo, says NTA is always a willing partner to all issues that will further enlighten the public on government's programs and activities. He enjoined the Code of Conduct Bureau to consider the NTA as a vanguard in the propagation of our public awareness messages. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And talking sports now, Alexis Sanchez becomes Chile's all-time scorer with 38 goals after his impressive strike against Germany in the FIFA Confederation Cup, as West Africa Golf Tour released guidelines for B&E match play with tease-off in Abuja on June 28. Ayodeji Makinde has more on Sports Update.
65 Qadis and at least 40 Nigerian and foreign professionals have registered for the West Africa Golf Tour B&E match play, which tees off June 26 to July 2 at the IBB International Golf and Country Club, Abuja. The tournament, which is the fourth leg of the tour this year, has a purse prize of $50,000, with the Qadis taking to the course earlier ahead of the professionals, which tee off for 72 holes on June 28, with the eventual winner carting home $8,000.
Because of the pulse is higher, most guys are interested, and that's why they're coming. So we're on top gear, everything is ready.
First Bank FC of Lagos kick-started the second stanza of the Nigerian national